Welcome to the Operation Smooth podcast. As many of you know, the Hall of Fame class of 2026 of the NFL has been selected, headlined by D's Larry Fitzgerald, Adam Vinatieri, Luke Kuechly, and Roger Craig. Craig, long overdue for the Hall of Fame. But what I wanted to focus on is all the controversy surrounding the snub of Bill Belichick, the former head coach of the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. 6 Super Bowl wins as head coach of the New England Patriots, 9 Super Bowl appearances with the New England Patriots, also 2 other Super Bowls as defensive coordinator of the New York Giants back in 1986 and 1990. Also, Bill Belichick was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns from 1991 to 1995. Did get a playoff win with the Cleveland Browns in 1994, ironically enough, against the New England Patriots. So that's a little bit of a trivia for you. Some people feel that Bill Belichick should have been in the Hall of Fame just because he was able to get the Cleveland Browns a playoff win. But hey, that's neither here nor there. Uh, 12 Super Bowl appearances by Bill Belichick overall. Let's see, he's got 9 Super Bowl appearances as a head coach. He's got 31 wins as a head coach. That's the most ever. He's tied for most playoff appearances as a head coach with 19, most divisional championships as a head coach with 17. So it is irrefutable that Bill Belichick is probably the greatest coach of all time. But there have been some controversies along the way. There have been some allegations that in Super Bowl 36, the first Super Bowl that he won as a head coach with the New England Patriots, where they beat the St. Louis Rams, there's allegations of some kind of video recording equipment used to spy on the St. Louis Rams is walkthroughs prior to that Super Bowl. That leads into a few years later, Spygate, where Eric Mangini, the then coach of the New York Jets, really put it front and center. So there are a lot of people that feel that some of those Super Bowl wins are tainted because of that. Then there's other stories that pretty much every coach has done that in some way, shape, or form. You fast forward then to the 2014 AFC Championship game where evidently Tom Brady, with Bill Belichick's knowledge, they deflated footballs in that game, and that might have been a factor in Indianapolis losing that game. So Tom Brady got suspended for the first few games of the 2016 season. The Patriots had to pay $1 million fine. They got docked a couple of draft picks. Bill Belichick, if we're being honest, in his treatment of the media, he was not the greatest. He just really gave just one word answers and just wanted to keep it moving. He was not trying to be a media friendly star. Bill Belichick's focus was it was just one thing, and that was just it was winning football games. That that was it. Now, I'm gonna say this: I really don't think that it's that big of a deal that he got snubbed in his first year of eligibility. He's not the only head coach that did not get to the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. You can start with Bill Walsh. I didn't know that until a couple of days ago that Bill Walsh did not get to the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility, but nevertheless, he's in now. We all know about the West Coast offense and how innovative that was, particularly with the use of the running back, not only just as a running back, but as a receiver. Thus, Roger Craig, who is in the Hall of Fame finally, Roger Craig became the first running back to have 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving in the same season. Obviously, Bill Walsh has a legitimate case as far as being the greatest coach of all time. But again, he did not make the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. I believe Bill Parcells did not get elected to the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Then you've got Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs in the 1980s and 90s as head coach of the Washington Redskins. He won three Super Bowls with three different starting quarterbacks. I mean, you talk about, I mean, you can say Bill Belichick's the greatest of all time, but if you look at that accomplishment by Joe Gibbs has a legitimate case to become to be considered, I should say, the greatest coach of all time. What I will say is this: evidently, Patriots owner Robert Kraft was also snubbed from the Hall of Fame this year. I firmly believe that they will both get in next year, and I think after that, I don't think anybody's really gonna care whether Bill Belichick got snubbed or not. I know Jimmy Johnson is going to protest this year's Hall of Fame class, uh, the eventual induction later this year. Uh, and so many people, I mean, and look, they have a right to be upset about it, but he's going to get in next year at the latest, unless what the Hall of Fame committee, maybe they want to have Belichick, Robert Kraft, and Tom Brady inducted together. But this whole situation doesn't bode well for Tom Brady. I believe Tom Brady is eligible either next year or the year after. And if Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft are getting snubbed, you can pretty much rest assured that Tom Brady is probably going to get snubbed in his first year of eligibility. Again, he'll get in anyway. But my issue with all the backlash from Bill Belichick not getting elected in his first year of eligibility, where was all this energy for Bill Walsh? Where was all this energy for Joe Gibbs? Where was all this energy for Bill Parcells? I mean, their resumes are maybe not as impressive as Bill Belichick's, but they are right there with him. But yet you didn't have that energy for those coaches. And then there's some players out there. Where was all the energy when Art Monk, one of the greatest receivers of all time, it took Art Monk, God knows how many years, to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Art Monk should have been a first year Hall of Famer. Then, as a Jets fan, Joe Klecko was the first defensive player to become a Pro Bowler at three different positions: defensive end, defensive tackle, and nose tackle. And it was almost 30 years after he retired before he finally got to the Hall of Fame. No, I think it was about 30. Where was all the energy for Joe Klecko getting inducted? That accomplishment alone should have gotten him in the first year. Uh, where was all the energy for Roger Craig? As I stated earlier, Roger Craig, the first running back to have a 1,000-yard rushing and 1,000-yard receiving season. He accomplished that in 1985. Only two other running backs have accomplished that since then: Marshall Faulk in 1999 and Christian McCaffrey in 2019. Marshall Faulk is in the Hall of Fame. Christian McCaffrey will probably get into the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if Marshall Faulk got in on his first year of eligibility. I would have to check that. But I think it's bogus that Roger Craig had to wait over 30 years from when he last played to get in the Hall of Fame. The 1,000 yard rushing, 1,000 yard receiving season. I mean, that he was the first one to ever do it. Walter Payton didn't do it. Emmett Smith didn't do it. Barry Sanders didn't do it. Thurman Thomas didn't do it. LaDainian Tomlinson never did it, but Roger Craig did. And all those I think I said Barry Sanders as well. All those great Walter Payton did not accomplish that. And God knows there's a plethora of great running backs that never accomplished that. Where was all the energy for Roger Craig to get in the Hall of Fame? But thankfully, he was done right and he is in the class of 2026. So that's what I'm saying. In my opinion, the whole Bill Belichick snub is not that big of a deal. Obviously, there were some controversies along the way. Allegedly, Bill Polian, the former what was he, the vice president or whatever he was of the Indianapolis Colts. Uh, he executive Bill Polian allegedly did not vote him in. Well, you know, let's be honest. Bill Belichick tormented the Indianapolis Colts especially in the early 2000s. Now, allegedly, the Hall of Fame people said that he did vote for him, but it didn't matter. He didn't get enough of the votes. He's not getting in this year. He will get in next year, I can assure you. And then all this controversy will be over. But again, it's not that big of a deal. If you go into baseball, the list of and I know it's a different sport and everything, but Joe DiMaggio didn't get into the Baseball Hall of Fame until his fourth year of eligibility. Like, come on. Mike Piazza did not get into the Baseball Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Like, I mean, so unfortunately, with a Hall of Fame voting, you're going to have some egregious omissions. But like I said, it's not that big of a deal. Bill Belichick is going to walk in next year, and this controversy will all be over. So those are my thoughts on Bill Belichick's omission from the class of 2026 of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Like, comment.